I'm Dana K. White. I'm the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life. I'm the creator of the No Mess Decluttering Process, and I'm here to tell you my story about hiring a junk hauling service. Because this is one of those things that we dream about, right? Just having somebody come and take it all away. So for you, I tried it out so that I could tell you about the experience, because I know that while it is a dream, it's also kind of a potential nightmare, right? Like the idea is, wait, is it, what do they do? How does this work? So I experimented for you. Okay, so a couple of things. I hired 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is not sponsored in any way at all. Like they don't even know that I'm doing this video. I just wanted to use the most readily available service to everybody. There are so many wonderful local services as well. Do the search in your area. Ask friends if they've ever used someone. I think you'll be surprised to find out how many people have used services like this. But go ahead and check out your local area. But I'm going to tell you what 1-800-GOT-JUNK did for me so that you can then know what questions to ask, because I don't know that all of the services do all of the same stuff. I'm sure they don't, right? Okay. So the reason why I decided it was time to do this was that we had multiple big things that had been left by the people who lived in our house before us, that when when we first moved in, we were like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. So like one of them is this desk, a humongous wooden desk that was out in the barn that's also my office, right? And there was that. There was just some random stuff from the construction that we had done in there, like so many boxes from furniture that we had put in there and all that kind of stuff. A big recliner that was broken and kind of gross. I didn't even show you the grossest part in the actual picture, but there were enough big things that I was overwhelmed at the thought of getting out, and I was having an event at my house. So I have decluttering coaches, right? And I had a retreat at my house for my decluttering coaches, my certified ones. You can find yourself a coach at declutteringcoaches.com. Anyway, I decided it was worth it because I had some big things that needed to be picked up. Plus, I could do this video for y'all, right? To talk about the experience. Well, once I decided that I was going to do this, the thing that we all knew would happen happened, which is I got a bee in my bonnet, or whatever you want to call it, to get a bunch of stuff together. So I started going through and gathering stuff like crazy, right? So what I did was first of all, I decluttered as much as I could. My husband and I actually both worked on different spaces with this idea that we are going to be hiring a junk hauling service. Like knowing that we were planning to do that in a few months gave us Saturdays of let's declutter, let's get some of these areas like the garage that I had never fully gotten all the boxes out from when we moved, and then they had gathered more things in boxes there, and donations and things that we had been, I was like, let's just get all this stuff going and ready because we're going to be hiring a junk hauling service. So just knowing that that was on the schedule, I had decided a day when I was going to do it. I didn't schedule it till right before, but I knew when I was going to do this, and it just changed our mindset. And the thing that happens in your mindset there, especially, is that as you're decluttering, if you know that someone else is going to be picking this thing up and putting it in a truck for you, the default to getting rid of stuff really increases or accelerates, or whatever the right word would be, right? Like we found ourselves just defaulting to, yes, get rid of it. Yes, get rid of it. Why? Because someone was going to be loading the truck for us. And that is one of the features specifically with the service that I used that is something that you need to ask, okay, about any service that you look into using. They actually will haul anything from anywhere in the house. Anything, they do have a couple of things, like they don't do paint, hazardous chemicals. Somebody who might be editing this video right now had changed their oil and then never taken the oil to be recycled. They don't take stuff like that, right? But it was very, very few things. So almost everything they will take, and anything that they will take, they do the hauling. Like literally all you have to do is point at the item. So what I did was I got a roll of big orange dot stickers, like neon orange dot stickers. And so we had been decluttering, we had been gathering, putting things into areas of, you know, this is what we're going to have taken away. But then we went through the house multiple times and just said, anything here that we're just not sure we really want to have this in our house anymore. And wouldn't it be nice while they're going ahead and taking everything for us for them to go ahead and get it? So we put stickers on that. So some of the things that I found, like it made me look in closets that I hadn't looked in a long time and I had forgotten. I had some old window hangings like up on the top shelf of the closet, which was making it harder to use the closet, right? So I did a lot of this taking things and sticking an orange sticker on it so that I knew we knew the areas where things were gathered for the hauler person. But I also knew we could walk through the entire house. We could walk through the outside area and remember and register. I've already decided on that. And that is the thing that I think is really important to remember if you are hiring a hunk jolling? That sounds inappropriate. A junk hauling service, right? Is they move the things for you. If the one that you're hiring does that, right? Like check on that. But they don't make any decisions for you. Most of the time, the decisions are the hard part, right? Like you have to point and say, take that, take that, take that. Okay. Go downstairs into the basement and get this, and this, even if you're not able to get there, right? But they're not deciding what should stay and what should go. Okay. That's where I didn't know this was going to be an advertisement for my decluttering coaches, but it is. That's where my decluttering coaches come in. That's what they do. They help you know what stays and what goes, right? So just so you know, a junk hauler is not a professional organizer. They are not a decluttering coach. They are muscle and transport. That's what they are. Okay. So we had them get the big stuff and we gathered tons of stuff, for them to do. They showed up and they charge by the truckload. Okay. And again, this is something to check with who you're going to be using. But the way 1-800-GOT-JUNK charges is they will charge by the portion of a truck. So it'll be like a whole truckload. We used an entire truckload. Okay. Or it could be a half truckload, or, they have it divided up in other ways. And it's a certain amount of money to fill that amount of space. Our guy was wonderful. He was really, at first I thought, oh, a whole truck, are they going to really shove it in there? He did a great job of throwing stuff up in there and then getting in and arranging it so that he was using all of the possible space. You can see the side view right here of the truck and see how there's stuff sticking up there. That was another thing we had was mattress and box springs that we ended up getting a replacement for, but you can't really donate mattresses anymore most places. Did you know that? So we wanted those gone, right? So he ended up doing that. It was, I was a little bit like, oh, you only sent one guy. I have some kind of big stuff. And yet he had the tools and stuff. He was able to do what he needed to do. Sometimes they would take things apart to be able to take it away. Something that the guy did tell me, as I asked him, I said, what happens to all of this stuff? And he said, well, we take it and we recycle what can be recycled. I had a lot of boxes that had been gathering up, which we are now like not letting that happen anymore. But he said, we recycle what we can recycle. We donate what we can donate, and then we trash whatever else we can't do, right? Do I know for a fact? I mean, I assume that yes, that's what they do, but I have no control over that, right? And I don't know that other junk hauling services do that. They may take everything to the dump. That's something to ask if it matters to you. But it was one of those times, because I know that so many of us who struggle with clutter, a big part of our struggle is what's going to happen to my stuff, right? Like, is it going to go to somebody who appreciates it? Is it going to be, we want things to be recycled and we want things, to do and it is a way, it is worth the money, which it was not cheap. It was worth the money for me to know that the things that can be recycled here, I don't have to be the one to know what things can be recycled or how they're going to be recycled. They're going to do that. But again, I also don't have control, right? And so many times I think something is great and valuable, but it's because I'm somehow like coloring my view of it with my memory of it or what it used to be, and not seeing that now it's damaged or broken or completely out of style or whatever. But in my mind, I have so many memories that it seems valuable. Because they deal with so much junk, right? They actually know what things are usable and can be donated versus not. So my guess, not knowing anything, is that these junk hauling services that do recycle and donate what they can, most likely get rid of things, trash things that I would have thought could be donated, right? So part of that is letting go of all that control. Like they're providing a service, I'm paying for this service, and I have to trust their expertise. Sometimes that can be hard, but ultimately it's an incredible relief to know that somebody who knows what they're doing with junk is getting this stuff out of here for me. So a couple other examples of things that they took away for us, which obviously there was a time we had that heater that never did work. We'd gotten it from a friend and they were like, just put in your own propane thing. And we did, and it didn't work. And we were like, but they hauled that off. It was this big, unwieldy, not donatable, but also way too big to go in the trash kind of a thing, right? We actually got rid of a lot of bits and pieces of blinds and things, because I finally had blinds put in. So we got rid of any of the window hangings and things like that that had been part of that. The other thing, I wanted to keep the actual planter that was really, really heavy, but then the doolally under the planter was broken. So that was one of those things where I was like, it was so nice just to be able to point and say, can you get that? That's what I put my orange sticker on. And he knew orange stickers mean take it, right? And so he was able to deal with the big heavy planter, not me. And then the incredibly heavy, I really thought I was going to fix it, ice maker that was supposed to be the best ice maker in the whole world. And then it became so loud. But that thing was incredibly heavy. So even though I had mentally decided probably a year ago, you know what, I'm never going to even try to fix that thing. I just need to get rid of it. But the heaviness of it was the thing that made me procrastinate actually getting it out of my house because it was so heavy, right? So having somebody who comes in and they're the muscle, really important. Would I do it again? Yes, I would. Did I think it was a great value for the money? I thought it was worth it. Did it take some mental gymnastics for me to consider it worth it? As a born frugal person, it did. It took me really saying, Dana, was I willing to pay this amount of money to have free and clear space in my barn area, free and clear space in my garage, get these incredibly heavy things that I was probably never going to actually get out of my house because they were just physically so difficult. And how are you going to do that? And then we're going to have to figure out a way to get to the bank, the dump. Yes, it was worth it, but it wasn't cheap. Okay. It was not something where I was like, oh my word, it only ended up being like this much money. Oh, I really did pay for it. But it was worth it because it's done. And the motivation to declutter was incredibly powerful as I was getting ready for this time when I knew that they were coming. Main things to remember, once it's in that dumpster truck thing, it's out of my control. So anything I want to know, I better ask before they load it up. Because if it's important to you where something goes, then, this is not the way to do it because you don't have control once it's in that truck. But also, I encourage you to give up on it being important to you where it goes and just say, you know what, it's worth it to just have it leave and just to trust that if it's usable, they'll use it. And I'm going to let them be the one to make that decision. And the pressure that takes off of me is incredible. Okay, again, not sponsored, not necessarily even about the service, but I did want to use 1-800-GOT-JUNK just because I know most of you have access to that service, but there's lots of other services that you can call as well and find out what their policies are. How do they handle donations, recycling, all that kind of stuff? Do they sell things that they take? I don't know. I don't know if they do or not. But if you need help deciding what to get rid of and changing your home, decluttering coaches. If you just need muscle to actually get it out of the house, call the junk hauling service. All right. I hope this was helpful. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.